we look back over our lives, we see that there are many trials and many joys. It's good, I think, to give thanks to God for all of these things. That it might be helpful, particularly as we celebrate 70 years as a parish, to reflect upon kind of these challenges and joys of our parish. And so I wanted to bring you just a few historical tidbits, just a few things from our early history that you might just find interesting and kind of unique. Now, we've come a long way since the time of the very first Mass, on the first Sunday in September in 1951, in the Shanley School Gymnasium. Soon there would be 4 Sunday Masses each Sunday morning, and 1 Mass on the weekdays. Since there were 146 children at that time attending St. Mary's School, we needed a school of our own. And so in August of 1952, Holy Spirit Grade School started in the north section of Shanley. And by January of 1953, it opened in a new school building, the Holy Spirit School that we know today. That fall, there were 278 children in the school, pretty much every child in the parish. The cost for hot lunch in January of 1954 was $3.60 per student for an entire month. The spring parish dinner netted $12,000 that year, and our Boy Scout troop went camping in the Black Hills. We decided that the annual school tuition would be $7.50 per month for children from outside of the parish, or for those parents who weren't paying a regular pledge or who attended Mass elsewhere. The concession stands at the ballpark did well, and that year they had netted basically almost $11,000. That seems like a lot for back then. In 1955, a 5th Sunday morning Mass was added to the schedule, so they must have had lots of people coming to Mass. For the annual spring dinner, we served all-you-can-eat fried chicken and meatballs for just $1. Anyone want to bring back the spring dinner now? Well, here was a fun little tidbit from the bulletin back in the 1950s. It said, "Please fill the pews in the front as well as in the back." Well, some things never change. I suppose I could put that in our current bulletin as well. In 1957, we served over 1,600 at the annual baked ham dinner. That's a lot of ham. Gratefully that summer, Holy Spirit only had slight damage from the historic tornado that ripped through Fargo. Shanley was almost totally wrecked, with close to $1 million in damage. I think it was 600 loads of rubbish were hauled away from Shanley and Sacred Heart, later known as Queen of Peace. That fall, we served over 1,800 dinners at the bazaar and over 2,000 dinners the next year, so things just grew and grew. The Holy Spirit School enrollment continued to grow every year, and by the early 60s, it was over 600 students. 6 classrooms were added to the south end of the school, as well as a rectory being built in the southeast corner of the property, with bids totaling $108,000. It was noted in the bulletin that the women and the girls were to wear a headdress in church. Of course, Vatican II came about and ended this requirement. They helped raise funds to build our church, and all parish benefit dance was held in February of 1960. It is believed that a suitable church would cost somewhere between $350,000 and $450,000 to build. In those modern times, each brick in place costed about 25 cents. At that time, in the early 60s, the typical year's parish and school's expenses totaled somewhere in the neighborhood of $145,000. In the spring of 1961, the challenging decision was firmly made. We are going to build a church. Building the original school cost, I think, close to $500,000. And in addition, costed another $120,000. The rectory costed $135,000, and Holy Spirit's share to help with the Shanley building was $100,000. However, due to the great generosity of the parishioners, the parish was in debt only $325,000, and thankfully that's all paid off. Along with beginning the church building, 1962 goal was basically set out to raise $2,000 from the bake sales to provide a complete set of white vestments really for the church. So finally the bids came in for the church, and they totaled a little over $440,000. So it was a little over the original estimates, but they may do. Over 20 items were left out, but work started in 1962 in that summer. The booths at the fair grossed $9,000, and the bazaar netted another $9,000. So there was a lot of work done by parishioners to make everything possible. Okay, I think that's enough fun facts and historical tidbits for now. How about we have a second edition soon? God bless.